A major issue facing the Yavapai County today is the jail sales tax. It will be on our ballots in November. So we've invited two individuals, Yavapai County Sheriff Nasher, to present the county side of this discussion. We've also invited John Stevens, the president of Citizens Tax Committee, to present a different view. I would like to invite both gentlemen to please come to the stage. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip a coin. Like that. And also, here's my coin. I actually have a gold water coin here. All right. There you go. I got this from LG, you know. And so we're going to flip this coin to see who goes first. And so I will let John, would you like to call it?
Sure.
All right. Here we go. Sheriff, go to my neck. So what do you call it?
Head.
You got heads. You go first.
Dokie.
How about that?
Do I keep this?
No. Sheriff, would you like to sit here on stage?
Sure.
And John will have you sit here once you're finished. Each gentleman will have 6 minutes to speak, and Nettie Lamerson will give them a 1-minute warning, and then we will switch sides, and we'll have 6 minutes, and then we'll have 1 minute rebuttal. I appreciate you both being here because our goal is to educate and to get all sides of issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Penny, for asking us, giving us this opportunity. Sheriff, nice to see you.
Good to see you, John.
Mr. Mayor and all elected officials. Scott brought at least 2 armed deputies that I can see. That's okay, I got Joe Pendergast and Bill Robb. Hey! Right? Okay. CTC is not at this time taking a public position on this question. Our purpose today is to bring information and ask questions. Our study, CTC's study of this issue, continues and will continue. What you see up there right now is 3 or 4 days old, Friday, August 8th. We had a great dinner. Sheriff was there, thank you very much. It was very successful, I think. Our keynote speaker out of Goldwater did his usual good job. The slides that we're going to show, David, do I push this again? There we go. Well, that's a part of it. Okie doke. While you're looking at that, a couple preamble statements. CTC, Citizens Tax Committee, was formed in Prescott in 1977. So we're not the newest guy on the block. We are a 501c4 organization organized in Arizona. CTC has annual dues of $20 a year. We're not a big budget operation. Our Vice President, Joe Pendergast, Joe, hold them up. Thank you, Joe, has membership applications. If you'd like to join CTC, please see Joe. As a small government, low tax guy, like I am, it's not unusual for me to feel like an underdog. So I'm going to ask my wife, Yetta, and here comes Joan. See, I knew Scott would show up in his uniform. He'd have uniformed deputies. I don't have a uniform, but we have a banner. So for our purposes of this afternoon, CTC definitely is the underdog. Thank you, Nate, very much. Okay, our approach today is to present information, ask questions, but we report, you decide. At this time, CTC is not making a recommendation. But we are looking at the numbers. And this is some information that some of you may not have seen. Since this slide was made, the approximately $7 million per year has been increased. This year's budget, this year's fiscal budget, 14-15, they're actually budgeting $7.5 million, plus or minus a little bit. That's what's actually expected to happen. In the real flush years, 2008, 7, 9, this tax, the existing tax, was generating over $8 million a year dedicated to the jail. The new jail costs, our understanding, the best estimate is about $27 million per different numbers, 26, 27, somewhere in that area. The existing Verde Valley jails is fully paid for. Paid for with the proceeds of the existing sales tax. Thank you, Sheriff, for running a good operation. The existing tax, 1/4, 1%, will run more than 5 more years if nothing else happens. You won't have to do anything, and it goes until June of 2020. Next slide, please. Can I do it from here? So that first little bar graph there, 5 more years is $7 million, is $35 million. Really, it's more, isn't it? But that's just for a number, a conservative number. The existing jail sales tax, if nothing else happens, is going to generate at least $35 million. Now what that tells me, among other things, is that the dollars needed to build the new proposed jail is in the bag. It's a cinch. Barring some kind of catastrophic, unexpected, bad happening, there's enough money scheduled to come in to build the new jail. There's more than enough. Alternatively, I gotta hurry, I'm in yellow. If we pass the new tax and it goes for 20 years, doubling the rate, it'll generate $15 million a year, roughly. That's $300 million, probably more, as those are static or constant dollars. So we question whether that is really an appropriate new tax. Don't forget, it's a new tax. And I'm redlined down, aren't I?
Yes, you are.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it very much. John's taking a tour tomorrow of the jail. He purchased the day with the sheriff at the rodeo dinner, and we're going to take him around and show him a few things. Jails are expensive. Just to touch on that topic, as he brought it up just now, he mentioned $300 million over 20 years. If you take $26 million out of that and then divide it by 20 years, that's roughly $13.7 million a year to run the jail. You have to operate the facility. Building the jail is a one-time cost. It's the operations yearly, and it's mostly staffing. That's what the costs are. But let me back up a little bit. First thing I want to say is, after watching that video, and I only have a few minutes too, but we're blessed to be in America. When you look at what we're up here talking about today, I'm talking about a jail in Prescott, we're talking about a country that's trying to survive, so put that into perspective. It's just, we are blessed. But let me start out, and Pam mentioned it, and so did Susan, about public safety. And I want to touch on that briefly because one of the most primary responsibilities of our government is public safety. On a federal level, it's the terrorism, it's what have you there with foreign enemies. But on a local level, especially for sheriffs, it's our public safety in our communities and our neighborhoods. And the jail is the hub of the criminal justice system. And this has been in plans for many years. I may be the one up here today talking about it and explaining some things to you, but really I am not the main person behind this. I am one of a group. Our Board of Supervisors have unanimously been involved in and support this. Sheila Polk, our elected county attorney, highly respected, has stood up and said she supports us having a Prescott jail. Our chief judge in Yavapai County, Dave Mackey, has stood up and said he supports this jail. And because of some things we learned in the past, we started to plan for the future a sheriff ago, a board of supervisors ago, prior to the new board. And why did we do that? Because in the 1990s, we ended up getting behind the curve in Yavapai County. Our jails got overcrowded. We weren't able to provide the services we needed. And what happened? Many of you were here then. We had federal intervention. We violated federal laws. A federal judge said so. The Department of Justice, U.S. attorneys came into Prescott and did what I don't want to have happen while I'm your sheriff as an elected sheriff, and that is come in and tell us what to do for me to provide public safety to you. I don't agree the federal government should come in here and tell us anything like that. So we, not just me, we as a team began to plan for the future of a Prescott jail. We went so far as to even bring in an outside consultant, a team that came in and evaluated our jails under the worst economic times in 2008. They said in the interim, first thing you should do is shut down Prescott. You have got to save some money. You're going to lose deputies off the street. We advise shutting it down. And it was shut down. But what did that cause? It caused what we're still doing today, and that is police officers leaving their beats, leaving the neighborhoods and driving all the way over to the Verde Valley, as Pam said, 50 miles or something it is, and back. That takes hours. They're off the street. It doesn't work. So why am I here today? Because our jail in Camp Verde is at capacity. We need more beds. Well, Sheriff, have you managed the population? We hear there's people in there on possession of marijuana. I want to thank the judges. I want to thank Sheila Polk. We've managed the population. We did a snapshot a couple weeks ago. There was one person in our jail on possession of marijuana, and they bonded out within hours. They were out. The people in our jail are the high-risk offenders who need to be off our streets and not out in our public causing us harm. And we've done a very good job at that. I wouldn't be up here today if we didn't manage that population. It's critical. So the next question I get is, why not the Prescott jail? The Prescott jail doesn't have the capacity and the bed space we need. 67% of our inmates come from here. I could move 250 inmates over here with a 120-bed facility. It's not going to work. We have planned. We need another facility. We need a 300-bed facility we can add on. Talk about some leadership. We're looking at 20, 30 years down the road that this is going to work for us. Even if we were to get this additional $0.25 today, with the $0.25 we have, $15 million a year, that will just cover the building and operational costs of the new Prescott jail. So I'm here today to support the Board of Supervisors who have chosen to go to you and ask for a $0.25 rather than a property tax. So thanks for listening to me today. God bless.
John, you have 1 minute. John, you have 1 minute.
Okie doke, Billy. Thank you very much. I think the underdog joke makes a lot of sense now, doesn't it? We got the judges, we got the sheriffs, we got all the elected. Almost every year, almost every agency says, I've got to have more money to do my job. Is that right? Every single year. That's number one. By financing the operation of the jail through the sales tax, one of the results, not a good one, not a good one, is to take the whole funding of the jail out of the normal budgeting process. Now the county supervisors don't have to prioritize the cost of running the jails with all the other things that they want and need to do. Trying to assure a separate side stream of income to finance the jails takes it out of competition for everything else. And I've just got a lot of things to say, and I'm redlined. We report, you decide.
One of the things about a jail district is it's specifically for the jail. By statute, it can only be a half a penny maxed out. That's it. Total of a half a penny. Any of the monies that come from that go directly to the jail. But I think what's really important about the district for us is it takes the burden away from the local cities and towns. And the local elected officials, your mayors, your city councils will tell you that. If we don't have a district, they pay for, each of the towns pay for the inmates and the people they arrest. It falls back on the local cities and towns. So the jail district focuses that funding to the one source. And remember, the sales tax is part of the big tourism we have in Yavapai County, where 30% or more of the folks are coming from the outside, spending their money here, helping us to offset the cost of the jail, which is part of that district. Even when you pay off your house, you really don't own it because of property taxes. I've had enough with property taxes. Thank you.